All right, everyone. Bud Black here today. We'll start with Noah. Go ahead, Noah.
Hey, Bud. First off, for housekeeping notes for Charlie, Mac, and Tapia, I assume they're just scheduled days off today since they would be facing a lefty.
They're not starting the game, Noah. There's a really good chance they'll be in there probably in a National League game. But those three in particular have gone really hard over the last month or so. And with our another day game tomorrow and a stretch of 7 games at home, we felt as though not starting today, give those guys, just a little bit of a blow early this afternoon leading up to this game was the best thing to do for them physically and mentally. And also with that, to get, a few other guys in the lineup to get them a start, to get them a couple at-bats to keep them current. So it helps the whole team.
Secondly, I know when we were on the field yesterday, Chris Owings is taking BP and batting practice. Is he still feeling well today?
Yes, he's doing great. He's scheduled potentially to leave tomorrow to join the Albuquerque team.
Also, too, for the lineup today, you have Daza hitting 5th, which I believe that is the highest he's hit all year. What made you decide for him to hit 5th over other guys like, for example, Joshua Fuentes, who has hit 5th previously?
Well, I think I can correct you there. I think Daza has hit as high as 2nd a number of times.
That is true. Yes.
Okay.
But
Again,
the 5th spot.
Yeah. The 5th spot. Well, I think with Daza, I think collectively he's swinging the bat great, and some of the home road splits for Josh are such where it might make sense for Daza to hit 5th.
And then lastly, for Kyle Freeland, I know you said last night you didn't think he was tipping his pitches. It was just pitch location.
Yes.
After looking at the video, do you still agree with that?
Yeah, still agree with that as well. I think with Kyle, it's more about location. I think it's more about location down in the strike zone more than anything. I think Kyle's strength is throwing the ball down at the knees with action, all his pitches, getting the ball in on the hands of hitters, both left and right, at the belt or above on the corner, but primarily just keeping the ball down with his good action on his pitches.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Danielle.
Hi, buddy. I don't know if you've had a chance to talk with Kyle yet, but he seemed pretty down on himself last night when we were talking with him. I mean, how did he seem to you last night or this morning?
Well, frustrated. I mean, Kyle's a competitor. Great deal of pride, wants to win for his team. I think he knows the responsibility of a starting pitcher. I've said many, many times that, so many pitchers relish that responsibility. If a starting pitcher is probably, you can argue, is the most important guy on the field every night that the team goes between the lines. The starting pitcher's performance a lot of times dictates whether the team will win or lose. Probably more so than anybody. And Kyle, loves that responsibility. And when, it doesn't happen, he gets upset, he gets angry, he gets frustrated, all those emotions. So those are good things, but, he'll bounce back. He's awful tough. And we'll continue to do the things we do as a coaching staff, as a team, to support all our players.
And what have you been hearing about Ryan Vilade in AAA this year?
He's doing well. First year in AAA after not playing all of last year. He was in A-ball the last full season. Now he's in AAA, but he's handling it well. Plays the game hard. We saw it in spring training. I thought he had a really good spring training. We're moving him around the outfield. He's handling that well. Swinging the bat, I believe, under 300, but some of the internal numbers are okay. But he's a good-looking young prospect, so we'll keep our eye on him. But he's doing well.
Thank you,
Patrick.
Hi, buddy. I know you don't like to talk about yourself much, but I'm going to ask you: how are you handling the losing? And clearly, like you said, Kyle was frustrated.
Sure.
take a lot of pride in your pitching staff.
Sure.
How are you rolling with this?
With, you mean
Just
just in general, or just
Yeah.
last night's game, or?
No, in general. In general.
Yeah. I mean, we all, we're all competitive, as you know, Patrick, and I've been at this a long time, and I've seen, both ends of this, like most people in the game, right, who've been around a long time. The World Series championships have been great. Some of the losing seasons have been tough, but I think you really put in perspective what what your team wants to accomplish, the expectations for the team, and you coach and manage and play accordingly. I think with our group, there's no doubt that there's a lot of teaching going on amongst our group. There's a lot of behind the scenes work in the cage with video, coaching conversations with players about what we expect for this season and what we want to get out of it. And you can go through the list of our roster and go guy by guy about what we want to accomplish individually and also as a team. What we want this team to look like as we move from today into next week, into July, into August and September. What some of those goals that we want to accomplish that I won't really set forth publicly, but we're talking about them behind the scenes. But I want you to know, and I think you can appreciate this, that the expectation level for us is to go out and compete and try to win the game every day, and that includes today. And to go about it the right way with effort and preparation and hard work, and do it spiritedly as a team. To be unselfish and to get after it and play with a passion and a joy, regardless of what happens at the end of the game. And those are good things that will only help these guys in the future, for future games as Rockies and for them in their career. So, that's how I look at it. There's challenges all the time, depending on the team you have. And I think every manager or coach will tell you the same thing. Whether you're in New York, Denver, Philadelphia, LA, San Francisco, Detroit, doesn't matter. You do what you have to do with your team and try to meet those expectations that you set upon yourself. That, like I said before, we're not going to, speak publicly to those.
To follow up, you mentioned about the coaching and the teaching. You were a pitching coach for a number of years. Do you enjoy that aspect of the game? In other words, getting your hands dirty, so to speak, and working with primarily the pitchers, but the whole crew. Do you enjoy that part of it?
Yeah,
and kind of developing young guys?
Yeah, I love the teaching part of coaching. I think, for me, I think coaching is teaching, right? A lot of times the in-game decisions, sort of take care of themselves, right? I think we all, can work our way through a game and know what in-game strategies need to take place. And there's some subtle ones, and there's some things that obviously we know as a coaching staff that, the public doesn't know or fans doesn't know, that, base our strategic decisions on those. But the nuts and bolts of coaching for me is teaching. Everything that leads up to, in our sport, the first pitch. And I love that. I love that part of it. I love that even as an older player, talking to younger players. I love that as a coach in Anaheim. Love that as a manager. And collectively, our coaching staff, I think, are great teachers. And they love getting their, in your words, getting their hands dirty. The hours in the cage with Mags and Sally and TD. In the bullpen, Fosty and Darryl, Doug Bernier, all the guys that are, part of the pitching side. And I, obviously add my 2 cents along with Mike Redmond and Stu and Giddy. We love that part of it. I think all coaches at the core are teachers, and our players in so many ways are students, wanting information, wanting to learn, wanting structure, all those things. And I think that's the beauty of the coaching profession. And that's, not even at the professional level. I think you ask any college coach, high school coach, amateur coach, who's maybe not involved with, anything organized, travel ball, whatever. That's the teaching part is, I think, the rewarding part. And obviously the cherry on top is, championships, in our case, World Series championships, amateur level, whether it's collegiately or high school, the championships are the cherry, but at the end of the day, it's the growth of the player, getting the best out of the player, having them learn. That's what I take a lot of joy in.
And one more follow-up, as long as we're speaking a little bit philosophically. Is it difficult as the manager, the thoughts on the field, is it difficult in a season like this to balance trying to get guys to learn and develop players and trying your best to win too? Does that make sense? Does that question make sense?
No, I think that's the good part. I think that's the challenge. And I think we all want challenges. So, right now, what is it here in Cincinnati? It's 1:00. Our entire team is here. I was just out, in left field with our pitchers, talking to them. There's a couple guys I spoke to individually about some things. I was in the cage prior to that. Connor, Joe, and Brendan Rogers were in there getting ready to hit, talking over some things with Mags and Sally about Wade Miley. So, these things happen throughout the course of the day, and the beauty of it is when the game starts and something that you talked about maybe pregame happens in the game, where you see a positive result or a positive outcome. It's awesome, or you see an at bat or an approach in a critical part of a game that you see a player, take an approach and he gets a great outcome. And it's maybe because of conversation that, the player opened up and you had great free-flowing conversation about how he felt emotionally and prior at bats. And now he's learned and he's taken a step forward in growth. Those are the things that are rewarding. And if it happens to lead to a victory, that's awesome. So, all these little things add up over time that, shape a ball player's career. And I've said so often, these things don't happen overnight. You don't go from, who you are as a player to all of a sudden a great player. It happens over the long range of days, weeks, months, sometimes seasons. And we've talked about that. And watching that unfold is, for us as coaches, the best part of coaching.
Excellent. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you sharing.
You got it, Pat.
All right. Anything else for Buddy today?